overtime loss to the New York Knicks. We're getting into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I am Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Pat, the Knickerbockers, bro.
Lost to the Knickerbockers, bro.
Lost to the Knickerbockers. That's deep, bro.
That one hurt, bro. That one,
bro.
And here's the tough part about it, right? By the way, we did get a live look in at Haize right as soon as the game ended. He was a little upset. We got him right there. He was a little bit upset right as soon as the game
ended.
That's
the best you got, bro. We did catch Pat out in the wild while he was working, and
you're trying to Pat the
designer when he's working, bro. That's Pat designer be working out here, bro.
Hit harder. Let us know which bar hit harder in the comments, man. No, in all honesty, bro. That's why you got to tune in on the YouTube side. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's how we should start. That's how we should start every single show. Just frying each other, and then we go in.
Hey, but we about to fry this team though.
We about to fry this team for real. So here's my thing, right? And I'm gonna just start this off with a question. We clearly, right? There's a lot of things that we did well tonight. There are. You get the overtime. You're still fighting. You're still competing. There's a lot of things the Chicago Bulls did well tonight. Mm-hmm. You can't say that they didn't. I thought Zach LaVine played some really good defense. I thought Caruso did a good job on a bigger matchup. I didn't want to see it all night. They kept switching to that, and the Bulls just kept being like, all right, let's switch it. And it's because how P. Will played them the last time. But here's the question, right? Are we to the point where we can tell that this team is good, but just not good enough?
Well, can I throw some nerdy stats at you for a second? So the Bulls, I'm going to go over just defensive stats. The Bulls are the 10th best team as far as defensive rebounding, the 20th best overall in rebounding, which isn't good. They're the 8th best team as far as steals, 10th best team as far as blocks, and as far as field goal percentage, they are the 7th best team in the NBA. Now, that is, most of those defensive stats are based off the fact that the Bulls played really good defense in the second half. Imagine if the Bulls played the same defense that they played in the second half in the first half, we'd be top 5 defensive teams in the league.
It's mind-blowing to me, right? And that's why I say, right, there's good things about this team. And you know what team popped in my mind, honestly? What team popped in my mind instantly? Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, they're going to try and point out a specific player. It's not a specific player. It's not.
It's not coaching staff. It's not just Billy Donovan as a coach.
There is literally a barrier that this team has hit that they cannot get past. You want to know how I know that? The Chicago Bulls have been in 18 games this season. 18 games this season where the game has been decided by 5 points or less. How many of those games do you think they've won?
3?
2.
Okay.
We are 2-16, a .111 win percentage in games decided by 5 points or less. And the first team that came to my mind. Are we seeing a team that, while it has players that can play, could be constructed well, they can figure out how to win games?
Mm-hmm.
That is very similar to the 2011 Golden State Warriors with Monte Ellis, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, where, yes, you're a better team. You're a fun team. You're a competitive team. Teams can't sleep on you. And you do a lot of things well. But there's pieces on this team that hold other pieces back.
Absolutely. And I've made a lot of comparisons to the 2007-2008 Chicago Bulls, and I stand by that one. But I like the comparison you made as well. We have good pieces. And like you said, there's going to be a lot of people that talk about, they blame it on Vooch, they blame it on DeMar, they'll blame it on Billy Donovan, they'll blame it on Zach LaVine. It's not just, it's a combination of all those things. And one of the biggest things that concerns me is the fact that, like, you got a team that's gotten stale in their second year together. And yeah, we're missing Zoe. I get all that. But that is super concerning. Super concerning.
Yeah, and I think here's the big thing for me, right? Like, while that team was wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
That team finished the season 36-46.
And the 2007, 2008 Chicago Bulls finished at 33-49. So
is that it? And here's the thing. If you're looking at that situation, do you just got to ride this out? Because both those teams essentially wrote it out. Both of those teams were like, okay, we've got now the Warriors were in a much different situation. Well, maybe not, right? The Warriors were in a different situation where they had Klay Thompson. He was starting to be up and coming, but he wasn't going to be playing over Monte. So like that was a little bit of a different situation when Monte moves out.
Was Monte and Klay on the team at the same time?
Monte was on the team the ssame time with the year that Klay got traded, or Monte got traded. I believe it's Klay Thompson's rookie year. And he was playing well, right? But Monte was in front of him.
Oh, yeah, you are right. They did play 1 year together.
So. Yeah, he might have played the full year with him as well. Did they trade Monte in the offseason or during the season?
I don't remember, bro. Not even gonna lie to you.
I remember when they were booing Joe. I don't know, Joe Lacob. I think it was Joe Lacob. They were booing him hard. But the thing that I'll say is this. When you look at how those seasons end up breaking out, when you look at how those seasons finish out and what decisions had to be made there's one of two things you can do, right? The Bulls end up basically losing out and getting lucky. They end up getting the first pick in the draft the next year, right? 2007, that was the next year we got Derrick Rose, right? I don't think that's the situation here.
No, I don't own our own first round pick.
We don't own our own first round pick. It's not the situation here. Blowing it up isn't going to fix it either, but we could be in a situation where, like you've mentioned on this show before, Patrick Williams, when he gets 10 or more shots, is a guy that consistently averages 15 points a game, plays it at a better role, does a lot of better things. We could be at a point where maybe there is something to be said to looking at making a change to one of these pieces. I don't know if it's going to be DeMar. I don't know if it's going to be Vooch, but I do know this. Continuing to do the same thing and having the same result is insanity. And in an 18-game sample size, you can absolutely see that we are continuing to do the same thing. And it has not worked 16 times.
I would say this. I said this before, and some people in the chat and you, I think, thought I was crazy, but something's not working. Like you said, do the Bulls look to make a move to get Patrick Williams more touches? Does it make, like, because right now you are not necessarily mortgaging your future because they're still on this team, but you are definitely stunning the progression and growth of those players because Billy Donovan just isn't using it. And somebody said over in Central in the chat there that there's not enough shots to go around. There is enough shots to go around, but I don't know if we have this scheme that's going to allow for that because we just allow two players to dominate the ball as much as they do. When AK decided to bet on continuity, part of that bet on continuity was admitting that, hey, for the Bulls to really go above for our ceiling to be raised, it has to come by either Ayo, Patrick Williams, Kobe, Dalen, some of these young players making a improvement, if not a leap. How do you expect a player to improve? A player in Patrick Williams who has shown when you put the ball in his hands, not just how he's able to score, he can distribute. He can put the ball on the floor and dribble. He's shown very much point forward type skill set, but you don't allow him to grow that. It's not going to grow through osmosis. You're not going to see him grow as a point forward if you're not putting him in those situations to thrive or fail, right? Because growth sometimes comes through failure. If you're not allowing him to go through those growing pains as a point forward, how do you expect that part of his game to grow?
No, 100%. And I'm going to be honest with you, right? The Bulls, when you look at tonight's game, I really want everybody to look at tonight's game. It's not a bad game. It's not. There's some moments in there that we don't like. Again, second quarter, you get beat. But I'm not upset at this team because they came out and they played a bad game tonight. I'm upset at this team because it seems like there's a cap on what they actually can do. Whether that's just because it's iso ball, whether that's because it's one-on-one. But you know what? There's a cap even on the fact when there's ball moving and the ball ends in Zach LaVine's hands and he can't knock down the shot. Or the ball ends in DeMar DeRozan's hands and he can't knock down the shot. But I'll tell you what, 19-7-5 for Nikola Vucevic tonight, pretty good game. 2 blocks, pretty good game. 32-5-2, 8 of 16. 16 for 17 from the free throw line for DeMar DeRozan. That's a pretty good game. 25-5-3, 11 of 23. Zach LaVine, again, still struggling with the 3 ball, but outside of that, 25 points. 3, I read that right? 1 steal, my bad. 2 turnovers. Cut the turnovers down. Wasn't dribbling it off his leg. That is a good game. And guess what? P. Will, 11. Kobe White, 12. Goran Dragic, 7.
Kobe
they
White
played well.
Yeah.
They didn't play bad. That's what that's the part that's concerning to me and is irritating to me is that I'm not looking at this team and I'm like, wow, these guys suck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this team and I'm going, oh, we really might just not be better. We might not have what it takes to close out those moments. And the player that DeMar once was in the clutch, that's over. From the free throw line, great. From the free throw line, great.
But the thing is that the jury's not the story's out on DeMar. People know now, like especially in crunch time, like you see them give it up in the game, but do not foul. That's the story. Do not foul DeMar. Do not foul DeMar. You've seen so many players like they literally just stand there and put their arms up because and you know what's funny? Even though I love DeMar DeRozan, he hasn't adjusted either because there's times where players just stand there with their arms up because they know what DeMar's going to do, and he still bumps into him anyway, and then looks like, oh, I didn't get the foul call on that. No, they were completely established in their position, DeMar. What are you doing? Yeah. But all right, next up, we're gonna talk about some of the games that other players had, but I do got to talk to you guys about ExpressVPN. We all know how ExpressVPN protects your privacy and security online, right? But here's something you may not know. You can also use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries. Maybe you've run out of stuff to watch on Netflix. This will change your world. ExpressVPN allows you to binge watch The Office on UK Netflix. It's just simple to do. Just sign into Netflix, fire up ExpressVPN app, change my location to the UK, refresh Netflix, and that's it. ExpressVPN lets you control where you want sites to think you're located. You can choose from almost 100 different countries, so just imagine all the Netflix libraries you can go through. You love Korean dramas? Use ExpressVPN to parasite off South Korean Netflix with your Netflix subscription. But it's not just Netflix. ExpressVPN works with any streaming service, Hulu, BBC, iPlayer, YouTube, you name it. There are hundreds of VPNs out there, but the reason I use ExpressVPN is to watch shows is because it's ridiculously fast. There's never any buffering or lag, and you can stream in HD, no problem. ExpressVPN also works on all your devices, phones, media, consoles, smart TVs, and more, so you can watch what you want on the big screen or on the go. So if you want to get access to hundreds of new shows, go to expressvpn.com/lockedon right now and get your extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. That's expressvpn.com/lockedon. expressvpn.com/lockedon to learn more. All right. I also got to talk to you guys about NHTSA. You're hanging out with some friends and putting back a few drinks, and a few becomes a few too many. As the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, you think of calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that can happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you lose your job, you total your car, or you kill someone. Everyone knows about the risk of drunk driving. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over.
We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today, from the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports. Go beyond the scoreboard, behind the scenes with local experts and insight that only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Pat. We got to keep talking about this loss, bro. Jalen Brunson did end up playing today. There were some questions on if he was going to play or not. And it seemed like it started off the game kind of slow. You could tell he was coming back from injury, but it seemed they said it on the announce too. Somebody must have been talking some crap to Jalen Brunson because he literally all of a sudden started kicking in a different gear. How do you feel about the Bulls and how they did in their individual defensive matchups tonight?
I mean, I don't even think they played terribly, right? I thought Caruso forced a lot of tough shots. I thought P. Will forced a lot of tough shots on Brunson. There's not much you can do. But listen, I watched Jalen Brunson play at the park. Those are not new shots. Those are shots where you throw that mug up, it hits off the top of the backboard, and it drops into the rim. He's been practicing those shots since he's been probably 10, 11 years old, dog. Like he is a master on the glass with those shots, and he showed it tonight. Honestly, like he did a good job attacking downhill. I thought the Bulls made a lot of the shots tough tonight. I thought that even Julius Randle had a lot of tough shots tonight, right? And the thing, the part that irritates me the most is that it's always the dude that just shouldn't get off, that for some reason when they see a Bulls logo, they just dominate. They're seeing red. Every other team this season is seeing red because RJ Barrett all of a sudden is just cashing out from the three-point line. He shoots 28% on the season. Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy. Grimes dripping it in on you. You know what I mean? Like there was just, but it wasn't even like it was just wide open shots. I feel like they were a lot of tough shots. And the shots fell. They shot 15 for 30 from the three-point line. I thought the Bulls, the one thing that I'll say is tonight might have been the night for you to try, even though Drummond played poorly, for you to try Drummond and Vooch together. Because Mitchell Robinson on the glass, it was unstoppable. He had, 7 offensive boards? You got to come up with an answer for that. You got to try to do something with an answer for that. And Alex Caruso got crossed, which negated him crossing somebody, bro.
Well, I mean, they negate each other then, but he had a hell of a crossover on. What was that, McBride? Was that who he crossed over?
Yeah, okay. But Brunson got him. Now, you know what I mean? It's you crossed McBride. Brunson got you like, skid that diddly dee. Shout out to
I honestly think like Caruso had some good possessions, even getting switched on Julius Randle this game, which I'm not going to lie to you. There were a couple of times where that was happening, and I was like, hey, I'm getting scared here, bro. I'm getting scared here. But Caruso did pretty good. Like I said, everything really comes down to that. For like the first half of the Bulls, if the Bulls are ever able to duplicate the first half, it's a completely different game in total for the Chicago Bulls. Now, DeMar DeRozan had his usual Emar DeRozan on the defensive night because he has no D. Always. He has no D.
Amar Arnell DeRozan.
Oh yeah, Amar Arnell DeRozan. Andre Drummond, 12 minutes played from Andre Drummond. What do you think about Andre Drummond only playing 12 minutes tonight?
Andre's bad. He looked awful out there. He looked lost. He got in the first play of the game and just ran over Jalen Brunson. He hadn't even played 10 seconds yet. He just walked over. Boop, and then looked at Kobe White and was like, all right, let's calm down. You calm down.
You calm down.
You just killed him, man. Like, he was bad, bro. And so for me, right, like I'm not mad at you not playing him. The problem is, right, like we can say, oh, we should have did this more. We should have done that more. You should have done that more. At the end of the day, you were right there in this game to win it.
Yeah.
You were right there in this game to win it. And you couldn't come down with it. Now, listen, maybe you throw him out there a little bit to go up against Mitchell Robinson, but Mitchell Robinson was winning that battle. He's winning that battle all night. And so I don't know, right? Like I think that's the toughest part. Like we're here now, and I'm just like, I don't know what's wrong. I get like the one-on-one offense, and it gets annoying and stuff like that. But the one-on-one offense has us. We played. How many games have we played this season?
27.
27 games this season. 18 of them have been less than 5 points.
And we've won 2 of those.
And we've won 2.
That's crazy.
And we won 2. So it's
That's
just
tough.
it's one of those things for me where it's like you're right there, but I don't know, right? Like to me, you've got to unlock something on this team outside of just the defense. Because defensively, the Bulls are okay.
In the second half, though. That's the thing. We need to be better in the first half as well.
But I'll say this, though. I'm okay with that because of how our rotation is. Like we talked about, I think we talked about it on here. Maybe I talked about it on the breeze. Our bench is such a stark difference. There's no scores on our bench. Kobe White played well tonight. He scored the ball well.
Every facet of the game, not just scoring, passing, he did well. Defense, he did well. Shooting, he did. Kobe White, this is probably, and I'll say, I know he's had bigger nights scoring, but this is probably one of Kobe's best nights as far as all around basketball I've seen him play in the NBA.
110%. But at the end of the day, that's 12 points. You know what I mean? And outside of that, there's no offense. The offense off of the bench that we've gotten has been Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, I get why the second half of those games are the way they are, because you're taking you're taking a pick your poison approach. When I had to actually sit down and go back and look at it, like that's when they flood in the lineup, and that's why in the second half of the second quarter, you notice we always come back. We always come back. We may not come back all the way, but we always get a little run in, because that's when they put back in DeMar and or Zach, or DeMar and Vooch, right? And they slowly work their way back into the game. But when you go 6 minutes and you look at the scoreboard and you're like, hey man, we scored 6 points this quarter. And they got 18. That's how you get to a 35 to 27 point quarter. So I agree with you. The defense needs to be better, but the defense in the first quarter was good.
No, it wasn't good. They just hit a 8-0 run in the last 2 minutes. Their defense wasn't good at all, bro. They should have gone down by 9 points in that first half. They just got an 8-0 run to finish out that quarter.
But to get you got to play some defense.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the defense was good for the whole quarter.
I won't give them the whole quarter. I won't give them the whole quarter. I won't give them the whole quarter. They had good defensive stretches. I say this. You find me a team that plays great defense for a whole quarter. There's your NBA champion. Hey man, we gonna get into this last topic, but before we do, gotta tell you guys about Built Bar, man. Hey, Haize, can we pause the pod for a second? Okay, we good? We paused? All right, let me pause. Great. Because you got to try this. I'm talking about Built Bar's new reimagined flavors. Cookie dough topper. Take it in. Coconut brownie bar. Coconut brownie topper. Ooh, hold on. Let me hit you with the white chocolate peppermint granola. It's Built's take on a granola bar, so it's more filling and still insanely tasty. They've got so many flavors over at Built.com. And the first off, right, for anyone who hasn't tried Built Bars before, they're literally the best tasting protein bars ever built. That's not even a part of the read, like legit. Like, I don't like protein bars. I eat Built Bars just on some I just want a snack. I want something sweet. I want something to
Well, the white chocolate coconut sounds like they took you and made you a flavor of Built Bar.
I don't know how to feel about that, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't. That came off a little bit weird. We're gonna go back to the read, man. They're they're revolutionizing nutrition as we know it. It's 100% real chocolate, 17 grams of protein, and shockingly low sugar and calories. Only 130 calories. Just sink your teeth into that first bite, and it'll change your life forever. I'm not kidding. There will be a time before you try these new Built flavors, and by the time you get to the other side, you're gonna be like, come on, dog, what was I missing out on? So here's what I need you to do, man. I need you to go and get 15% off your order right now by going to Built.com and using the promo code LOCKEDON15. Go to Built.com right now and use promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your order.
All right, Pat. You gotta wrap this up.
Outside the ad read. Was that a pause on the play? Like, was that was a little?
It probably was a pause.
Should I hit
bro? Huh? I mean, listen, that's how we living, bro. So you saying I should have hit one of these? That's what we needed.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, you should have scratched the record on that one.
It's fine. It is what it is. But with that being said, bro, we face the Knicks again on Friday. Do we get any different result come Friday?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, right? Like, I mean, here's the thing. The wild part is we're still on par to do what me and you both said we do.
This is true.
We said we go 2-2 over the next 4.
Yeah.
And I still think that the Bulls can win. I think that, listen, the Knicks did a lot of bad things tonight. Like I said, right? They beat us, and credit to them, hats off to them. They got the dub. Bro, they play a bad brand of basketball.
Wow.
They play a bad brand of basketball, bro. Not now, ours don't look too much better right now after a loss to them. But bro, like that last play where Julius Randle's trying to win it. What was that? What in the world was that?
He literally dribbled it was 18 seconds on the clock. He dribbled it for 16 seconds and then tried to shoot a 3. Like, it was like, bro,
it was a mid-range baseline fadeaway.
Bro, I'm like, hey, bro, I know Coach Thibodeau had to curse him out, bro. Like, there's no way. From what I know about Coach Tibbs, there's no way he just let that go. When that broke into overtime, he literally was probably in the huddle like, hey, man, what was that, bro? That was a terrible play.
I don't get it, bro. I really don't get it. And I'm gonna be real with you. The tough part was on the live call. I'm sitting there and I'm like, we got to be careful here, right? Because we've seen Tom call up some really good plays. We know Tom can draw a play, and I saw that and I was like, hey, that wasn't a really good play, bro. That wasn't a really good.
Tom said, "Thank you for your confidence, but I got something for you."
So I think the Bulls are. I mean, listen, they're close, right? Like they're losing these games on 1-2 possessions. They're close, and so I think we do got a chance to get a win Friday and get redemption. And the Bulls tend to bounce back, especially in these back-to-back situations where off of a loss we get a win. Actually, have we lost the game? We haven't lost to a team twice this season, have we? I don't think we've lost to a team twice this season. Every team that has beat us, we've beaten them the second time around. We just haven't played them. We haven't played everybody the second time around. But we beat Boston, lost to Boston, beat them again.
New Orleans. We lost both games to New Orleans.
We lost both games to New Orleans. Okay. Yeah.
That's it, though. That's the only team that's beat us twice.
Hey, they cooked us both games, too, didn't they? Well, we played better in the second one. We still got cooked, though. But Zion Williamson.
No, the first one we only lost by 4. The second one we lost by 14. So,
maybe maybe it was the first one we got cooked in. I don't know. The second one we got cooked. I don't know. We be getting cooked.
We got cooked. That's all.
We be getting cooked.
We got cooked.
Yeah. But I think here's what I'll ask you as we go into this game Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the key is to eliminate those couple of plays? Because literally, how many times have we been sitting here and been like, bro, it's just you can't make this play. You can't do this thing. You can't do, like, it's just a couple of plays.
True, but I think if you execute better over the course of the game, it's not just about a couple. The fact that it even gets to a couple of plays, to me, the way that I know we have a different mindset on this. I'm not saying one's right, right or wrong than the other. It's just mine. Like, my thing is, if you execute better the full game, and again, I don't expect you to be excellent defensively the whole entire 4 quarters. You're gonna have bad defensive stretches. Every team's gonna go on a run at some point in the game. It happens. But I think that the key for the Chicago Bulls is getting to a point to where it doesn't come down to a couple of possessions, because guess what? If it comes down to a couple of possessions for the Chicago Bulls, at least with the way the offense is ran right now, we are far too predictable for me to think we're going to win a game that comes down to a couple of possessions.
So let me ask you this then. Because the big thing, like I've talked about, right, is when the bench comes in that second quarter, that's when we start to see a lull. Would you rather Billy Donovan give the starters as much run as possible in the first and second quarter?
Mm-hmm.
You probably in those situations have a lead, right? We see them play well in those situations, or at least the rotation that we see in the third and fourth, right? Where it's more they're playing the best defense, they're playing better offensively off of that defense, and all you have to worry about in the fourth quarter is stopping the other team, because they're gonna be gassed by that point, stopping the other team from coming back.
I think you got to stagger. I think you have to start staggering DeMar and Zach's minutes even more than what Billy Donovan even does at some time. I actually like the lineup of having Patrick Williams and Javonte in the game at certain points in this game. I liked what they look like together. I think the key is, to me, it's mixing up your rotations to where it's not the straightforward, oh, Patrick Williams on or Javonte is off. Or it's to your point, tonight would have been any night would have been the night to play Drummond and Vooch together, which is a lineup I've been adamant I don't want to see together.
Yeah.
This would have been the night when Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson were out there together, that I would have liked to see them out there together, for even if it's just for a 3-minute stretch, and then the next dead ball you sub the other one out. I think that's
bad tonight too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Hartenstein
bad.
Outside of that 1-3, like, he was pretty bad.
He scored 11 in this game though, but it's like outside of that,
really?
like, defensively, he was absolute garbage. I think Hartenstein got into double digits. Let me make sure I'm not. Maybe I'm
getting cooked.
Yeah. Oh no, Hartenstein only scored 6. Who was I thinking of? I don't know, but yeah.
I don't know. That maybe Grimes, but I think for me, right, like I almost, it's weird to say this, but I love the fact that we're the best defensive team in the second half. One of the best defensive teams. I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm willing to live with the lull that does come at the beginning of most second quarters for that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Like, I don't even have an answer for it. I don't know, right? Like that's really what I don't know what it is that's holding us back. Like it irritates me that in the second quarter we don't get more offense, but I also understand it's because we're allowing our stars to have rest so that they're good to go in the fourth quarter, and that we have a team that usually tends to come back. The problem is we don't finish it off, and that's the part that is the most annoying part about this team at this moment. I mean, even that last play, I thought that was actually not a bad. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it either. The last play to P. Will, right? Like I thought that was a moment.
No, I like that play. I honestly think if P. Will would have actually kind of gotten possession of the ball in his hands, he probably would have got called. They probably would have got a foul call because Julius Randle wasn't in the restricted zone. But because the ball was up and it was a live ball for anybody to make a play on, it didn't get a foul call. But like I will give Billy Donovan his credit. That play he drew up at the end of the fourth quarter was actually a good play. It just wasn't successful, but it was a good play.
With the decoy to Zach and everything. Yeah. Like I didn't. It was weird. I was like, I don't like it. I think it's mostly because he missed though, but I don't hate it either. Like,
because he basically got a one-on-one at the rim almost. Yeah.
Oh man, he out-jumped Julius Randle. He'd have dunked him to win the game. That would have been nuts,
bro. If Patrick Williams would have got that dunk to win the game, bro.
But that's
we're talking about a whole different. Even
that, right? The last two games, we're talking about one missed free throw, one miss catch of the ball. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the part. I don't know. I have no answers with this team. Like, I don't think that. I know there's people in here that are like, we should be embarrassed that they're our basketball team. They look awful. They don't. They're not playing bad basketball. They're just not finishing games. I gave you the 2 and 6.
They're playing bad basketball at times, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, in the second quarter, they playing some bad basketball.
All right, bro, man. Let's go ahead and end it, bro. We in overtime.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer, man. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls.
Absolutely. You can follow me at CEO Haize at CEO Haize. I want to thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen. Now for your next listen, check out Locked On Sports Today. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. But for Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls, and we out, y'all. You can't put that up without putting up your picture too there, brother. Like, I'd be damned if that's the last thing.
Yeah.